So here is a comment. It wasn't, I don't see a question mark, but a comment that came. I love my dog more than people. The more I awaken and the more I sense the judgment of others, it's often off base, wrong, and I feel misunderstood and separate. I will share my personal experience. So for me, this wasn't a deep, singular realization around sensing the judgment or the not being understood or other people. It is true that it feels for me like there's a certain heightening of sensitivity. The more present I am, I can kind of sense what people are thinking almost, or maybe exactly. And the first thing I would do is I would dump all of that in a giant oil drum that came in between us. Whatever was coming in between us, I would visualize an oil drum between me and the other person and dump it in there. And I would envision them just clean and clear and radiant. And it usually dissipates things. You put love down where there could be friction. The second thing is I envisioned that there was like an egg shape, and I don't know why it's an egg shape, but I envisioned like this egg shape all around me, and everybody's going to have a perspective depending on their own experiences, their own, who I might remind them or not remind them of, their level of consciousness when they're standing in front of me. It's so useless to stop and consider whether somebody is estimating you in a way that increases our sense of self or decreases, diminishes us. It makes no difference. It is not our business what other people are thinking of us. I think Byron Katie said that. So it's a beautiful wake-up call. If you find yourself ruminating about what other people are thinking about us, it's not our business. What difference does it make? The question is can we allow ourselves to be open spaciousness, to be a spaciousness even when that's happening? Have we disidentified enough from what people, whether they think you're great or not great or helpful or not? Poonam, you look like you want to add something. I would love to hear.
Great observation. I think Byron Katie hits on it. I don't remember how she explains it, but it's something like yesterday when I went had dinner with, there were a group of people that I used to work with in 1995, so 20 something years ago, right? 95, 96, 97. So they've known me 20 years, and we meet on and off like once or twice a year. So she still remembers me. So I was a staff engineer and she was a desktop engineer. And I used to have that ego, you know what Eckhart talks about, that he had that ego where he used to feel superior because he knew more than other people. Mm-hmm. Of course, I had that ego that I knew I was so perfect in my job. Mm-hmm. I had a 4.0 GPA. I've always excelled at school. That was the ego that developed since childhood, right? So she still remembers my stink eye. So she cannot see the Poonam of today.
Oh.
Right? Because I would just look at her and go, did you just ask me that question? Right? Like as though I would like null and void her in that moment 20 years back. I would say, did that question really come out of your mouth and you asked me that question? It is so simple to resolve it, right? That was the way you know how the ego feels superior? I can see that when Eckhart says that when he was doing his PhD, he used to feel superior. Sorry about that. I got a cough.
Yeah.
But Byron Katie brings this up that people are still looking at us as though who we were 20 years back. They don't see the unconditional love that exists in her as who she is right now. And she can see that she used to be that person. She's not going to say, no, I'm no longer that person. She can see herself, right?
Well, or to correct it at all, to just leave people alone. My experience after doing this again and again and again is that if we don't seek or have any expectation or any want that to change the judgment that's happening to us, then we can just sit in the stillness, and it doesn't last for very long because something happens or something in the interaction that changes, right? And just to leave people alone, it's a deep state of suffering to be, it's like about fear or safety to be in a space and have to make your position and assert yourself in a particular way. And what a wonderful thing, to allow somebody to still see you as you once were, right? And to just not try to correct that, to just allow it to be.
I let her go ahead and pick on me yesterday all evening, and it was totally, I can see that I used to be that person. And that's the liberating thing that Byron Katie says is, don't you see that you lied in the past? Why are you judging about lying, right? Don't you see you had the same? So they're not saying anything wrong. They're just talking about something you were 15 years back or 10 years back. Don't you see that you lied? I've lied. I can never say that, why did you lie, right? So
Yes. So, yeah, that's beautiful. So a lot of compassion, and you can really see that. This is why having a personal practice to bring us deep, so that if we're pulled a little bit out, we don't disappear in the ethers, so we have a choice every moment, either we're here or we're gone. And if we're gone, when something like this happens, it's very easy for the mind to pick up on it and tell stories about it, start judging them back. And now we're all on the train downhill to a funky vibe that we don't want, right?
or saying, I'm not going to talk to her, she puts me down, or she brings up old stuff. Nothing of that sort. You just accept, yeah, I see myself 20 years back. I used to be that, right? Such a loving way to be, to offer that spaciousness. Beautiful. You want to end at this?
We can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Puno.